Sairam students, let's begin with the history chapter number 1, how, when and where, the revision of this chapter. You all know very well, let's go through the content before starting with the main chapter, again the revision of that chapter. See, we have learned the main important topics in that, how important are dates. Under that we have learnt about which dates are important and how do we periodize and what is colonial. Then the second topic in this chapter is how do we know. In that administration produces records, surveys become important, and what official records do not tell. In today's presentation, we are going to learn the first topic, how important are dates, which dates are important, how do we periodize, and what is colonial. Now let's begin. How important are dates? See, in the common notion, we saw that history is usually associated with dates, right? Correct? That was the reason. If I'll ask any of the child, they will say, I find history boring because it is all about memorizing dates. Correct? This is what the children will say. Everybody will say history is only about memorizing date. But is it so? History is certainly about changes that occur over time. It is about finding out how things were in the past and how things have changed now. So, if we'll compare, here it is like you can say we compare the past with the present, we refer to time, we talk of before and after. So, history is connected, no doubt it is associated with dates, but it is also about the changes that have occurred over the period of time. Time does not have to be always precisely dated in terms of a particular year or a month. See, if you remember, children, I gave you some examples in the first presentation when we were learning the chapter. See, it is not like always when we are in the world, we will talk about the historical questions only, correct? But most of us have our moments of wonder when we are curious and we ask questions like, that actually are not historical. I give you the examples of if you will watch someone having a sip of a cup of tea towards a roadside tea stall, you will wonder when did these people begin to drink tea or coffee, correct? And I gave you example of that reading the newspaper in the morning. You may be curious to know how people got to hear about the things before newspapers began to be printed. Correct, these all things came to your mind when you all see. It is not always like historical things only comes to our mind. But time does not have to be always precisely dated in terms of a particular year or a month. Right? It is actually incorrect to fix precise dates to process that happen over a period of time. So we can say that if I want to say about these examples that I gave you right now related to that drinking uh, tea to on the tea stall as well as about reading the newspaper, right? There can be no one will be saying you the clear date for the processes such as this, right? So we cannot fix one single date on which, even similarly, the example of the British rule, when the British rule was established or when the national movement started in our country. So we can only refer to a span of time, an approximate period over which the particular changes became visible. Then why then do we continue to associate history with a string of dates? This association has a reason behind that. See, there was a time when history was an account of battles and big events, correct? So it was all about the rulers and their policies as well as and the big events that took place at that time. So historians they used to write about the year a king was crowned, the year in which he got married, the year he had a child. So everything about that ruler, each and every year was given the importance in that way. For events such as these, specific dates can be determined, and in history, such as these, debates about dates continue to be important. Now, next topic that we are going to learn here, which dates are important. See, the dates we select, the dates around which we compose our story of the past are not important on their own, right? They became vital because they became important because we focus on a particular set of events as important. See, if our focus of study changes, if we begin to look at new issues, a new set of dates will appear significant for us. I gave you the example of the Dandi March as well as the example of that the year when we got independence, that is 1947, right? And then I gave you, if my focus changes from the year 1947 to 1950, that is the year in which Indian Constitution was framed, right? So if our focus changes, the significance, if we begin to look at new issues, a new set of dates will appear important to us. Now, here in the histories written by the British historians in India, the rule of each Governor General was very important. Here, I have given you the images of Warren Hastings. He was the first Governor General of India in the year 1773, and the second image is of Lord Mountbatten. He was the last Viceroy of British rule in 1947. So all the dates in these histories books were linked to these personalities, to their activities, policies, achievements. Okay. But can we not write history of this period in a different way? Instead of writing about the achievements and everything related to the governor generals, can we write history in some other way also? Yes. When we write history or a story, we divide it into chapters. I gave you the example of that content that index of our textbook. See, it is divided. Each and every topic has got some interrelation one after the other. Correct? That is what it has got some coherence. Coherence means the connectivity is there. So we can focus history in that way also. History can be written in this form also. Because if we'll talk about the life of the British Governor Generals and everything, the activities that Indians have done, it did not fit in that, correct? Because they have not left any space for them. So what then we do? We have to periodize history in some other way. Now let's see how to periodize it. In 1817, James Mill, a Scottish economist and a political philosopher, he published a massive 3-volume book. What was that book? Our History of British India. In this, he divided Indian history into 3 periods, that is, Hindu, Muslim, and British. And this periodization came to be widely accepted also. Then why do we try and divide history in different periods also? The terms through which we periodize is that is the difference between periods become important. They reflect our ideas about the past. They show how we see the significance of the change from one period to the next period. And whereas Mill thought that all Asian societies were at a lower level of civilization than Europe, so, what was that? Mill thought that all Asian societies were at a lower level of civilization than Europe. So, to him, as he was telling about the history before the British came to India, Hindu and Muslim rulers they were ruling the country. So, he thought that religious intolerance, caste abuse, and superstitious practices this dominated the social life of Indians. Then this is what he thought, that he thought of civilizing India. To do so, what he thought, we should introduce European manners. What is that European manners to be introduced in our country? That is not only manners, European art, even the institutions and the laws, everything should be introduced in India. So that he suggested that even the British should conquer all the territories in India to ensure the enlightenment and happiness of the Indian people. For him, actually, according to them, the period for India was not capable of the progress without British help. This is what the Mill thought there. But in this idea of history, British rule represented all the forces of progress and civilization. And the period before British rule was one of darkness. This was the conception that they were having, that Mill thought about our country, India. The period before the Britishers came to our country was one of darkness. So after that, again the moving away from the British classification, then why can't we can characterize an age only through the religion of the rulers of the time? So moving away from that British classification, historians usually divided Indian history into ancient, medieval, and modern. That was divided in 3 periods. That is ancient, medieval, and modern. Again, this division too has its problem. It is a periodization that is borrowed from the West, where the modern society, modern period was associated with, it was a periodization that is borrowed from the Western countries. Okay, where the modern period was associated with the growth of all the forces of modernity, that is, such as science, reason, democracy, liberty, and equality. So, medieval was a term used to describe a society where these features of modern society did not exist. The medieval was a term used to describe a society where these features of modern society did not exist. So, can we accept this characterization of the modern period to describe the period of our study? As you see in this, like under British rule, in this book, you will see under British rule, the people did not have the equality, freedom, or liberty, nor was the period one of the economic growth and progress. So that is the reason, again, under the British rule, people did not have all this. Equality was not there. Even no one was having the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, nothing. Even the liberty, people were not liberal to talk or anything related to that. Even economic growth and the progress was not to be seen. So many historians, therefore, they refer to this period as the colonial. So they did not accept it, that periodization. Now let's understand what is colonial. What is colonial? See, the way the British came to conquer the country and established their rule, subjugating the local Nawabs and Raja, we will see that the changes that has taken place during this period, they established control over the economy and the society. Even they collected revenue also to meet all their expenses. They bought the goods they wanted at the low prices. They produced crops they needed for export. And even then we will understand the changes that came about as a consequence, the changes they brought about in the values and the taste, even in the customs and the practices of the people. So we can say, when the subjugation of one country by another leads to these kinds of political, economic, social, and cultural changes, we refer to that process as a colonization. Again, I'll repeat, when the subjugation of one country by another leads to these kinds of changes, politically, economically, socially, as well as culturally, if all these changes have taken place, we refer to this as colonization. So, I hope you understood the meaning of subjugation very well. So now, children, just whatever we have completed, see, we learnt about the history has been associated with dates and events. It is all about before and after, right? And initially, it was an account of battles and big events, about rulers and their policies. Dates were important, no doubt, because a certain event happened on that particular date. That is the reason I told you, see, if my focus changes from one date to another, then that date become important for me, right? And then we saw the periodization of James Mill. He wrote that in a three-volume book, that is History of British India, that is in the year 1817. In this book, he divided Indian history into three periods, that is Hindu, Muslim, and British. Correct? Then we saw, according to Mill, all Asian societies, they were at the lower level of civilization than Europe. Before British rule, India was dominated by the religious tolerance, intolerance, caste taboos, and that society was dominated. This was the social life of the Indians, right? So historians divided history into ancient, medieval, and modern. These were the three periods that were, as per the historians, divided. But this division also has been borrowed from the West, that is from the Britishers, again from the Western countries. So modern period is associated with the growth of science, reason, democracy, etc. But these features were not visible in India then in India, because during the British rule. So British considered that art of, this was the thing we have learnt in the today's session. We learnt about the periodization of James Mill, we learnt about the periodization of historians, right? And then we learnt about the colonization. What was that colonization? These are the important topics that we have learnt in the today's revision session. The remaining half part of the revision we will be learning in the second presentation. So, till that, go through your textbook very well, go through the slides very well. Okay, till then, take care and see you in the next session with the next part of the revision of history, chapter number 1.